Hey there everyone, in this video we're looking at calculating area. So by the end of the video you'll be able to calculate area of basic shapes and in another video composite shapes. So the things to be successful that you need to be able to do is identify what type of shape you have, select the appropriate formula or establish how the formula comes about, substitute values, and then calculate area of the given shape, making sure that you've got correct units as well. So area, this is the amount of space within a closed shape. It is different to perimeter because it's actually counting like how much space is covered, whereas perimeter was like a linear or like how long a line is. So that's the difference there. Because we're talking about how much space, there is two dimensions to this. So think of like how much space would it cover, would it take, or how much area will you cover if you paint a wall or draw on a piece of paper. So that's what we mean by area. It's measured in a square unit. So the size of the square tells you what the unit of measurement is. For example, if you had a centimeter square, it would be 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. Meters and kilometers. So the bigger the unit, the larger the area. So if we have a look at this rectangle here, we can see it's got 4 squares. Now we can assume that they are 4 centimeter squares, so there's 4 centimeters across here and 3 centimeters here. Now that's 4 and 3. This is where your multiplications come in really handy, because essentially what you've done is you've set up an array. I've got four columns of 3 rows, and if I counted up all those squares by manually, like 1, 2, 3, I would have 12, or adding them up in groups, so 4, 8, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, or I could have just gone 3 times 4 equals 12. Now essentially what you're doing there is the area formula for a rectangle. So to find the area of a rectangle, it's going to be length times width. Now you'll notice you don't necessarily have to have the 4 and the 3 in that order. You could have 3 times 4. It's still going to give you the same answer. And we're going to assume that they are centimeters. So 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters. Make sure that you have that little 2 to indicate that it is area. So calculating basic shapes, if you have a square, it's still length times width. Some people like to write length squared because that's what makes a square a square. You're multiplying 2 sides by one number by itself. So area equals length squared. Substitute in, L is 28 centimeters squared, and that is going to give us, quick calculation, 784 centimeters squared, because we're calculating area. Next one, A equals, using my length times width because I have a rectangle, substitute 12 times 8 equals 96 centimeters squared. Notice how I'm setting up my working out. When I say working out, I'm looking for formula, substitute, answer. Now triangles, this is where it gets a little bit different. Triangles, if I was to extend this shape out, it would be 8 here and 6 here. So that would be 2 rectangles making this area of, say, 2 triangles making the area of 1 rectangle. So we take the rectangle that would have the 8 by 6, area equals length times width, or in this case base and height. We'll talk about base and height. So I'm going to refer to them as base and height. And you'll notice that there is a right angle triangle here that tells you where the base and height meet. Now base times height will give us this full rectangle here, but we only want half of the rectangle. So we can divide that by 2. You can also write that as 1/2 base height or 0.5 base height. They are all the same formula. Okay, so base 8 times height 6 divided by 2 gives us 48 divided by 2 gives us 24 centimeters squared. And the last basic shape I'm going to show you is that the importance of that base times height. Now, with triangles, you always want to make sure that your height is perpendicular, 90 degrees, to your base. Area equals base height divided by 2. 10 times 4.5, divide that by 2 equals 10 times 4, 22.5 centimeters squared. So what I'll just show you is, I don't know if you can see that, but that is pretty much what I put into my calculator, and I went equals, and it gave me that answer there. So I'm hoping that that actually comes out the right way for you, but it's 22.5. Okay, so what you're going to do now is pause the video and calculate the area of basic shapes. So you've got some quadrilaterals, and then you've also got some triangles to work out. Okay, stay awesome everyone, bye.